So we were just in a fun house, and we got to the mirror maze, and I don't know, I guess we were in there for just a couple minutes, and you were just over it, and you were like, I'm just gonna run out of here, and then just went straight and then hit your face into the mirror.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, just listening to you. What's going on?
We are doing an episode about family this week. So I felt like we should call our siblings and tell them that we love them and see if they love us back or maybe they don't.
Do you think yours are gonna be fine?
I'm worried that they don't.
I'm not worried about mine, but okay, let's call them. You have 1 million siblings.
Yes.
How many siblings?
I have 4 younger siblings.
You're the oldest.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and who are we calling?
My brother Brandon.
Hey, I was just calling to say that I love you.
Okay, love you too.
Do all of your siblings sound the same?
Does he sound like me?
Yes!
Interesting. Well, we've got 3 more. Hey, what's up? I needed to say that I love you.
You too.
Well, that works pretty well.
That got me.
Hello, just calling to say I love you.
Love you too, bye.
Okay, so this is your sister?
Yeah, she might be at work. When does school get out these days?
5?
No, it gets out earlier than that.
3?
Hello, just calling to say I love you.
Love it too. What else?
Okay, it's pretty successful. I was expecting more sass, more
Adam, well, and I guess Andrew kind of gave you sass, but Adam said,
what do you need?
what do you need?
We call him Willie.
Willie Whale.
Willie Whale?
I have AT&T.
Rip.
Hi.
Hi.
I love you.
I love you.
That's all I had to say. Fun fact, I have a brother-in-law named Kobe and one named Colby.
Colby.
Not so.
Hi, I love you.
Love you.
Oh, that was sweet.
What do you want?
Hello, welcome to another week of Studio 3A. I'm Roy. This is Anna.
Hi.
Hi, Anna. And we're continuing our series about relationships. This week we're talking about family.
We are.
Do you have a family?
I do have a family.
I also have a family, so
Great.
we're qualified to talk about this discussion.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
necessary but not
Okay.
sufficient. You had us draw pictures of our
I'm
family?
very excited about this.
Okay,
I'm gonna
are you
close,
going first or
I'm,
am I going first?
Well, I'm going to close my computer because this is serious business.
Should I close?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just,
Now, this is a little too intimate.
I'm
but
sorry. Okay, you go first. Where's your piece of paper?
I threw it away. I scanned it and I threw it away.
Well, I know that we were supposed to scan it, but I wanted a reveal.
Well, you can go to my trash can and reveal it to yourself.
Okay, I think we could just probably see it on the screen. Okay, I've not seen. Okay.
This is my family. I'm a really good artist.
Can
So,
you talk through this, please?
so it's in order. It's in birth order, as you can tell. So we've got my dad and my mom. The pink ones, they're hard to see. And it's not a statement on gender roles. I don't think that men are more vibrant than women. Get out of here
Okay.
with those comments.
I'm still recovering.
So that's my dad and my mom.
Okay.
The women have little curly hair. The
Obviously.
men don't really have hair. And then there's me and my fiance Jacob.
Uh-huh.
And then there's my brother Brandon and his wife Anna Kate.
Uh-huh.
Anna Kate. And then there's my brother Andrew and his twin Adam. Oh, I should have switched them. Wrong birth order.
Oh,
Adam was
is
born
the height correct though?
The height is correct. Adam was born 1 minute before Andrew, C-section.
Okay.
But he has special needs, so he's a little shorter. That's, again, not a comment on special needs people being lesser than. He's just shorter.
Yeah, I believe you.
And then my sister's at the end.
Okay. And then I assume.
Those are our dogs. So, again, in order.
Okay.
That's my parents' dog, Shiner, who is black, and Sadie, she's gray. So that's appropriate. And then Annie's my dog with Jacob, and she's black and white, but the white, obviously, we're already having trouble with the pink. So I just kept it all black. And then also, everyone's happy in this family. And so is the son. The son's happy. Just the creation is happy. And I'm such a good artist, and I really need your approval. I'm an Enneagram 1, which means I need people to tell me that I'm good. And I'm not getting that from you right now. I don't know what's funny about this. None of the things in the... It's the joy that's radiating from my family that's infectious and contagious.
It is joy. I just love that you're all outside. I love that you're standing in birth order.
Yeah, what other order would we
stand
except one
the dogs.
of them is wrong?
Okay,
yeah.
Roy.
Although to be clear, the spouses are not in birth order.
Oh, but they do go with y'all
because
the
siblings are in birth order.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm really grateful for this picture. I just want it on the record that he did do it in about 2 minutes, and I
spent a lot of time. And you said draw a picture of my family. Have I completed the assignment?
You did. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
Okay. Well.
Did I get an A?
You got an A+.
Thank you. That's all I need is just validation.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move to mine.
Yeah.
I don't know how you follow something like that. I'm still crying.
Aww.
We're not the Brady Bunch.
Look at how sweet that is.
It took me 35 minutes.
Oh my God. See, I'm much more efficient with my time.
You are.
I have things to do.
Yeah, you do.
Besides, laying on the couch,
feeding Annie,
walking the dog. Yeah.
So real Brady Bunch style, but these aren't our children. Kyler and I have no children other than our dogs.
Where are they? Are they not members of your family?
I gave up because
I'm telling Jackson Juno that you don't love them.
Please don't. So this is Kyler's side of the family. So you see Jim and Shanna, his mom and stepdad.
Okay.
And then Brant and Christy, his dad and stepmom.
Christy has purple hair?
Yeah.
Love it.
I
absolutely love it.
And then those are all of his siblings. There's Morgan and Emily. And Brad has a beard and has no hair because the last time I saw him, he had a beard and no hair.
Very appropriate. I didn't get the facial hair right. I don't think anyone in my family has facial hair. So I guess I did get it right.
Yeah. So then there's Colby and Kobe, which...
Colby and Kobe.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Whew.
And then on my side, it's my mom and my brother, and then my dad's wife, Rhonda.
Like your brother's hair.
Thank you. It's kind of swooshy.
Although he's got some facial hair. He's got a little stubble.
I know. I didn't know how to...
Yeah.
You know.
You needed a little...
Yeah. And then my dad.
Aww.
And then I drew Kyler's mustache, which it's much harder to draw mustaches than I would have thought.
I must you a question.
What is that?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that.
Well... now you can see our families.
I like that you two love each other, but no one else in the family loves each other.
Our love is superior,
yeah,
obviously. But I just thought it was important. I struggled on to who to include, but Kyler and I spend a lot of time with our families. Yeah. Mine's in North Carolina, but when we're there, a lot. So they're all pretty important. Yeah. Well, this was lovely.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I hope that I recover well.
I don't. You're down for the count.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay. The Gift by Lee Young Lee. To pull the metal splinter from my palm, my father recited a story in a low voice. I watched his lovely face and not the blade. Before the story ended, he'd removed the iron silver I thought I'd die from. I can't remember the tale, but hear his voice still, a well of dark water. A prayer. And I recall his hands, 2 measures of tenderness he laid against my face, the flames of discipline he raised above my head. Had you entered that afternoon, you would have thought that you saw a man planting something in a boy's palm, a silver tear, a tiny flame. Had you followed that boy, you would have arrived here, where I bend over my wife's right hand. Look how I shave her thumbnail down so carefully she feels no pain. Watch as I lift the splinter out. I was 7 when my father took my hand like this, and I did not hold that shard between my fingers and think, metal that will bury me. Christen it little assassin, or going deep for my heart. And I did not lift up my wound and cry, death visited here. I did what a child does when he's given something to keep. I kissed my father.
Let me tell you about the time that I lost my brother. I have 4 younger siblings, 3 of whom are within 13 months of each other in age. And while we were growing up, these 3 were known collectively as the little guys. One day when I was maybe 14 years old and they were around 5 or 6, I was tasked with babysitting the little guys while my parents were out of the house. While I was watching them, and I use the word watching very loosely, the Halloween episode of Boy Meets World came on TV. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this episode, it is terrifying. All the main characters are trapped in a school after hours, and they each go missing one by one. And needless to say, I was incredibly captivated, so I was surprised when I heard a man calling from the front room of our house, "Hello? Hello? Is anyone home?" I peeled myself away from the television to find my neighbor holding one of my little brothers in his arms. He told me that as he was driving down the street, the car in front of him stopped because a young boy was in the middle of the road. Apparently, my brother left the house and wandered into the street without my knowledge. Luckily, my neighbor was there and knew where the boy belonged, so I thanked him for returning my lost brother and of course mentioned nothing to my parents when they returned home. It wasn't until a neighborhood dinner party a few weeks later that my parents found out what happened, and I was promptly banned from babysitting for a good while. Now that, my friends, is an example of being a terrible family member. I tell you that to contrast it with a story of being a good family member that we find in the Bible. In the Old Testament, there's an interesting little book about 2 women, Naomi and Ruth. Naomi lived with her husband and her 2 sons in Judah on the west side of the Dead Sea, but there was a famine in the area, so they moved over to Moab on the other side of the sea. And while they were in Moab, both of her sons got married to women from the area. Unfortunately, after that, Naomi's husband and both of her sons died. In her grief, she decided to return to her homeland of Judah and told her 2 daughters-in-law that they should go back to their families because she couldn't support them. Now, one of them, Ruth, refused to leave her mother-in-law's side, telling Naomi, "Wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people." And I want to highlight a few things about this story and what it teaches us about family. The first is that families help us cross cultural barriers. See, Naomi and Ruth come from 2 separate cultures. In that day and age, being from the other side of the sea was like being from the other side of the tracks. You lived near each other, but didn't share much in common besides that. And yet, Ruth refused to let that divide get between her and her mother-in-law. And these days, we tend to live in cultural bubbles, where all of our friends and everyone we interact with on social media watch similar TV shows, vote for similar politicians, and have similar beliefs about the world. But family gatherings can be one of the few places where we actually interact with people who, despite their relation, see the world very differently. Now, that's part of what makes family hard. I once listened to a great aunt bemoan the fact that Hillary Clinton was being forced on American society. And I'm sure you have similar stories too. But if we can be calm and respectful, a family can be an excellent forum for tearing down our cultural walls instead of building them up. I know it's easier said than done. One way we can tear down those walls is by focusing on being supportive when our family members are going through difficult times. Getting past someone's political opinions is much easier when those opinions aren't your focus. Instead, we can build relationships that go deeper than the surface level disagreements by simply being present and available when our family members need us. And this is precisely what Ruth does in the story. She could have decided that the death of her husband was an opportunity to free herself from being tied to her foreign mother-in-law. Instead, she doubled down on the relationship, recognizing the real opportunity was to forge an unbreakable bond with a family member in need. It's no surprise then to learn that Ruth literally means friend. And Naomi knew exactly why Ruth decided to stay by her side and travel back to Judah. She recognized that throughout the time they knew each other, Ruth practiced chesed. And that's the Hebrew word that Naomi used to describe Ruth. And it's often translated in this passage as kindness, but it means more than that. In other passages, chesed is translated into English as mercy, goodness, and faithfulness. Chesed is a rich, deep kindness that doesn't let trivial differences get in the way. And this is the lesson that we need to take from Ruth. The world is a better place when we treat our family members with chesed, with kindness, goodness, and mercy, with compassion and faithfulness. And we're so tempted in American society today to separate into distinct cultural tribes, to believe that if you disagree with me, you're on the other team. It's an us versus them mentality. But we can be different. We can be better. We can lead with chesed, and we can lead with kindness.
I really like that. I really like the part of your kind of message about our family and how we can offer, say the word again?
Chesed.
Yes, to each other. And it makes me think about like how polarized we are now. Like, and so when I was listening to you, I thought about my dad. My dad and I have been as far politically from each other as we could be my whole life. And what I didn't realize was a gift that I realize now is that my dad let me say my opinion all the time. Like he taught me what kind, gentle, gracious discourse was, especially with politics. And I'm just so grateful for that now. And like, if we can't do that in our families, and I know that some of us have family relationships that are not good and not kind, and
yeah, let's be clear that if there's emotional abuse, physical abuse, any sort of abuse
right,
going on,
we're not talking about
gotta
this.
Separate
That's
that,
totally different.
Protect yourself.
Yeah. But for those of us who have maybe it just feels contentious because of political beliefs or economic statuses or whatever, right? Like those are opportunities for us to be in conversation that we don't get publicly.
Yeah, I know that when I was living in New York, you're surrounded by a lot of Democrats, and there's this idea of like, well, those people who live in the middle of the country are just so dumb and confused and taken advantage of, and they can't think for themselves. And it's like, well, you're talking about like my family members who I know who are nice, good, decent people.
Right, and just because we have differing opinions doesn't mean that they're bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
I'll be thinking about this episode for a lot this week. So if you're watching with us, let us know where you're at. How do you feel about public discourse right now, regardless of topic? And how are ways that we can offer
chesed
to each other?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. We're so grateful you're here. We'll see you next week.
Do it. Can you not make that noise? That's bad. Don't do it ever again.